How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about GGPI. These were one of the few stocks that was green on my list. And if you guys know already, this is a play that we love. I have a position in, and I was saying as far as for the risk to reward ratio, it looks really good. We've seen it pull back into the low $10 range. We were able to add to our positions. I know some of you were excited about that. And look, here we are, posted up a green day, and we ended up closing around $11.20. And on top of that, I have some great news that I want to share with you guys, which will help the stock price. Let's get into it. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is a technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to go on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for GGPI. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $11.20, being up 4.87%. On the low, it tested $10.65, and then on the high, testing $11.39. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 7.369 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 2.65 million shares. So we definitely had well above the average when it comes to volume, and that had a great impact on the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, we can see from the RSI down below, it is at 57.37. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are above the 21-day EMA. It's great to see that we are looking very bullish. You can see for the past 2 trading days, we have been forming higher lows. And like I've been saying in my previous videos, this is what you want to see. So now, going into tomorrow, what I want to see us do is being able to surpass $11.39, and let's see if we can make that test going to around $11.50. And the main reason being is, even though we did have a lot of volatility inside of the markets, we still saw that there's demand for the stock, especially with the above average volume. So this is why I'm expecting us to make that move to $11.50 and then seeing where we could go from there. If we end up having a slight pullback and so forth, I want to see us hold up at least around this $11 area of support, so $11 on the nose. And the main reason being is, yes, we did test support at $10.65, but they did have some recent news that did come through for this stock that got it a lot more attention. I'll be talking about that later in the video, but I feel that should be enough to make it stay above $11. So let's see how it performs going into tomorrow. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for GGPI. So green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look at the recent filings for February the 10th, we have a closed position from TD Asset Management Inc. We also see Berry Street Capital Management LLP. We have JP Morgan and Chase, and we have Picton Mahoney Asset Management as well. But we do have a new position for the 9th of Thompson Seagull and Wamsey LLC that purchased 26,000 shares. And we have further closed positions for the 9th, but you can see if we go down even more, we can see BNP Paribas Asset Management Holding SA that purchased just over 3.1 million shares. We also have Raymond James and Associates that purchased 22,680 shares. Now, when we take a look at the short interest, the dark pool short volume ratio is at 29.20%, and then for the dark pool short volume, it is at 342,518 shares. Scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 2.1 million, updated 28 minutes ago, and then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 2 2.38%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, you can see for the close of the 8th, it's at 28.02. And then for the close of the 9th, which was yesterday, being at 29.20. So what this tells us, yes, GGPI does have short squeeze potential. The criteria we normally look for is 21% or higher. So this is why when we have above average volume coming into the stock, we could see some nice moves like we saw today. So now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for GGPI. So for the inflow, it's at 17.16, and then on the outflow, it's at 16.40. So we ended up having an inflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large, it was 0.69. On the medium, it was 12.95, and then on the small, it was 3.52. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large, it was 0.22. On the medium, it was 12.30, and then on the small, it was 3.88. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for the close of February the 10th, which is today, it being at 470.22. And we also did see an inflow on February the 9th at 34.73. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tends to represent the retail side, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at what happened on the large, represents whales, institutions, or funds, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 7.41%. So we know already it's been a volatile time inside of the market. This stock garnered a lot of interest, trading at well above the average volume. And this is why I was saying there's going to be a lot of volatility in this play, especially of the fact that it's getting a lot more attention, and it will be getting more attention as the weeks go by, and especially when we get that date in regards to when the combination is going to happen. So now let's go into the final thoughts, and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for GGPI, let's go over the recent update that came out today. So we have GGPI stock jumps into the spotlight as Polestar gears up for the major Super Bowl debut. Polestar recently released a 15-second Super Bowl teaser ad that details the 2022 Polestar 2. As a result, all eyes are on Polestar and the big game. This is definitely a great move, and the reason being is this is going to bring more eyeballs to the brand. And what is this going to do to the stock? It's going to bring it even more attention. We've been so used to seeing volume being very low. It's usually around the 2 million range, and as far as for today, it was well into the 7 million range, and we ended up seeing that buying pressure, and the stock has been picking up. So this is why I was saying, do your homework. Do your due diligence. When I brought this play to you guys, yes, it was in the $11 area, and I was like, you know what? I don't like buying stock when it is above $11. We ended up getting a pullback going into the low 10s, and since it is a SPAC, the risk to reward ratio and $10 being the floor, this is a great opportunity. And here we are. The chart looks very bullish. So the next level that I want to see, especially if we see some market strength, we need to get above $11.50 and then see if we can make that move to $12. I think once we get above $12, it could get very interesting. We haven't got the date for the business combination as of yet, but when we do get that, I can see a rally that is coming into this play. So again, congratulations to those that are able to actually get into a position and also were able to load up on the dip. I also went inside the Discord and I said, hey, I'm going to be loading up on some warrants. So I ended up buying 100 warrants, and I'm just going to be sitting on those because I see where this stock is going to go, and that's why I want to make sure I'm making at least 200 to 300% on these plays. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, it does continue to have short squeeze potential, but at the same time, as far as for the overall market sentiment, it's not too bad. And I think most of the reasons for that is because, again, it is a SPAC, the floor is at 10, and it's not to say if it's trading at $20 or $18, it is very close to the floor price. So there's not many risk involved whatsoever. And also taking into consideration the conditions we have inside side of the market, a lot of stocks were red, but GGPI was green. We also noticed for the CPI data, it came out higher than expected. Plus on top of that, as far as for the 10-year yield, it spiked well over 2%. So the best plays that you want to be in are the ones that are trading at reasonable valuations and don't come with a lot of risk. And we know this is a common theme when it comes to growth stocks, since they do trade at higher valuations than other stocks in the market. This is the risk that we all know about. So the plays that don't have a lot of risk, plus it's a growth stock, and there's a lot of news coming around it, especially for Polestar and the Super Bowl ad, it can get very interesting inside of this market, and we want to see where that big money is going to flow. And I could definitely see it coming into this stock, especially as we go into March when we get that Fed meeting and we get to find out, hey, how big is the first interest rate hike is going to be. I will continue to keep you guys updated and keep you inside of the loop. You can count on me on that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see how this stock performs going into tomorrow.